Hi, this is Mitch Doan, and along with Jamie Richardson, we're your hosts of the Break-Thru Active podcast. We aim to deep dive into health and fitness that will help bring you a better understanding of topics that are of interest to you and can help you on your own journey. If you are enjoying the episodes, we'd love for you to leave us a rating on the platform you listen to your podcasts. Enough from me, sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome back again to the Break-Thru Active podcast. I'm here with my weekly meetup with Steve. So, g'day, mate. How's it going?
G'day, mate. What's happening? How's the week been?
Yeah, not bad, mate. No, didn't really give you a bit of a pep up today. Normally, I like to describe you in a bit better detail, but just a simple hello and how are you today?
There's no rev up. I like a good rev up. If you rev me up before the start of the podcast, I'm usually full at the gate. But I'm gonna have to rev yourself up here. Let's go.
I don't think you need too much extra revving up, mate. To be honest, your caffeine. You feel like you're one of those caffeinated people that doesn't always need caffeine. At least
Well, back in the day, I remember back in the day when we were doing boot camps and stuff, people used to call me the human version of caffeine. That's what they actually called me. Because at 6 o'clock in the morning, because our first session was always at 6 o'clock. Yeah, I'd be pinging like I had about 2 Red Bulls.
that actually ties in really well with what I want to talk about first, because I was chatting in the gym the other day with I can't even remember who it was. We're talking about energy drinks and like the servo run, and just when you go to the servo, fill up your petrol, and you grab a quick whatever. And I was I can't remember who it was, and I was telling him how you used to love your energy drinks. I really love them.
Oh,
How many days? What were you knocking back?
Minimum 2 a day. Like that's at the minimum. I could never just have one a day. If those people that don't know, I used to be like I'm talking, I was an energy fiend. I used to love like cans of Mother. This was back in 2015. And I was tipping the scales, big 140 kilos I was. And yeah, I was drinking 2 cans of 500 ml Mother every single day without fail. And sometimes it's crazy. I was that like immune to it that if I had a Mother at like 11:30 at night, for example, I could drink the Mother and go to sleep straight after it. So bad. That's probably why. It's just forever in my system. Like years on, I'm drinking the Mother 11:30, and probably woke up ready for boot camp. I'm like, all right, guys, let's go.
Liter of Mother a day.
Minimum liter. Sometimes I'd have 1.5. Sometimes I'd have 3.
And you were just like, you had no, like, your resilience to it was just nothing.
I think after a while, I think I was just sort of like, because somebody asked me, they said, like, do you get a mad buzz off it? And I said, I don't really feel like I'm actually getting a mad buzz off it. Like I just simply enjoyed the taste. And just think that addiction in my head, I just needed to have it. So, yeah, I just think after a while, I just became immune to it all, and it just wasn't affecting me anymore. And as I said, yeah, like I could fall asleep after having one, like no problem.
I used to be like pretty much addicted to pre-workout. I think I've spoke about this before, to the point where similarly, like I would have it and I'd feel like a bit of a buzz, but like nothing like it was meant to, because I was having it every day. And it got really bad because if I ever like ran out of pre-workout, or I was working out at the gym, or this was before we had the gyms, this was like boot camp days. If I was going to like jump in for a workout or something and I didn't have any pre-workout, I like felt like I couldn't do the workout. I was completely reliant on it to the point where I like needed to have it before a workout, or I just didn't feel like I should have even bothered, which is stupid.
How long did that last?
Oh, year or two, I'd say.
Yeah.
I just loved it. And it was like my ritual that I'd have to have it, like 15, 20 minutes before the workout. And then it would just sort of take its effect as you're starting the workout, and then I'd be fine. But if I ever didn't have it, or I ran out or whatever, I just felt like I almost couldn't even do the workout. It's really
And
bad.
how did you snap out of it? Did you just
I
stop
just
doing it?
stopped,
Or
yeah, like just pretty
yeah,
much just cold turkey. I was just like, I'm just gonna stop buying it, and
yeah,
then like I remember like the first week or two was pretty tough. I was like, oh, this is like shit, these workouts, because I had no stimulant.
yeah.
And then like anything, you just got used to it. But yeah, I'm really, really glad I did. Like I don't have anything really against pre-workout and people who take it, but just for me personally, it just got so far and got to the point where I just didn't like that it had that hold over me.
Hold on you.
It
Yeah,
was like I'm talking about a drug, but it kind of had the
yeah.
same sort of effect.
It's so easy to fall into like a routine and a habit though, because like as you were talking about your pre-workout, like you needed to have that before your workout. Like I absolutely cannot go on a walk if I don't have headphones.
Really?
Can't do it. It's impossible. Like so I'll have every like if it's a nice day or whatever, I've got an hour, I'll be like, all right, I might just go for a walk. And I'll be driving and I'll get halfway and then I'll be like, oh, these earbuds haven't got any charge in them. I'm like, nah, gotta go back, charge them. I can't just keep going and just walk without them. It's impossible. I need something in my ears I think it's just because I've just built up that habit of having them, and I
Yeah.
just can't get out of that habit. Yeah,
Yeah, it's weird, like the things that we kind of associate with certain activities, like
yeah,
because you can obviously go for a walk without headphones, like you just
yeah.
go for a walk.
Can't do it. Can't do it. My legs don't
Nah,
move without it.
yeah, yeah. I
It's just
forget how to walk.
yeah, this best don't go.
Yeah, yeah. I used to be a bit like that with I don't even have a time frame on it, like chewing gum. I used to like always have chewy, and
Yeah,
if I ever didn't have chewy, like pretty much with me in my pocket, I didn't always have to be chewing it, but like if I
yeah,
didn't have it like in my car or like readily available, I'd have to like go get some just for no real reason. It was just a habit. Like whenever I thought, oh, I just want some chewy, and I'd be like, oh yeah, it's in the car. Like I can go grab it soon. If I ever didn't have it, I'd sort of panic a little bit.
need to get the chew in. Yeah,
Yeah, it's weird,
that's
but
it's crazy how we can just form those habits. Hey, look, you just fall into those silly habits, and then
yeah.
it's like you can't function in certain like spaces without something in particular. It's
Well,
bizarre.
that's how like drug problems and people get addicted to smoking and alcohol and things. Like obviously
Yeah,
it's like on a way different level than Chewy or headphones. But
yeah,
like it starts that people like can't go a night without having a beer or a glass of wine, and then it turns into three, and then it turns into six, and then
yeah,
like the nighttime drink turns into like the midday drink. The midday drink
yeah,
turns into 10 in the morning, and then it's like I have to have a drink like as soon as I wake up so I can function.
yep.
Same for smoking. Like a lot of, if you talk to anyone who smokes, like I dare say the majority of them have a cigarette within like 15 minutes of waking up,
100%.
and it's just how they start the
So it
day.
function. Yeah, yep.
And yeah, obviously some habits worse than others. But
What? So would you say the strangest habit that you've had is um the chewing gum thing?
yeah, that's pretty weird.
I think you know my strangest habit because this is
Which
my
one? There's
strangest.
so
I think
many
I've
of them.
told. Yeah, there's a few, but I've
No, I'm
told you.
joking.
I'm pretty sure I told you about this one. Back in. I don't. I still do it sometimes. I don't do it as much anymore. But if I'm eating breakfast, do you know where I'm going with this?
I can't remember this.
Okay, so if I'm eating breakfast, usually I'd like to like watch something on YouTube. So whether that be
Oh
like an
yeah.
NBA, UFC, NRL, poker, any sort of clip, and I have to find the right clip to eat the food, and then I can't take a bite until that clip starts. So I got to wait for the ads, and I'm like, yeah, and then when the ads are done, I'm like, okay, now I can settle. So strange.
Yeah. I'm a little bit like that. Like I try to put something on, but I probably could like, and I do sometimes if I can't find something, I just eat it. But Jamie's like that, I'm pretty sure. as well.
Yeah.
You guys, if you're eating breakfast together, would be funny. You'd both be just letting your breakfast go cold until you found the perfect video.
Or just fighting about what is the perfect video with our fidget spinners as well. In the other hand, just doing these ones.
Yeah. A bit of context to that. We had this team meeting years ago, and Sam, who was hosting the meeting, knows all of us pretty well. This was when it was, I think Ryan was maybe with us at the time. So it was Steve, Jamie, myself, Brody, and Ryan. And Sam got Jamie and Steve fidget spinners because she knows that they're just fidgety by nature. And
So, yeah, so we'll just sit down in the lounge.
yeah. And I think it was Brody and I on one side, and Ryan maybe, and you and Jamie on the other side. So we're just all sitting there like still.
Calm.
And then you guys fidgeting away, throwing the fidget spinner up in the air, spinning it on your finger.
Classic. She knows as well, but then she still brings it up today every now and then when I'm talking to her. So, but yeah, it's just, again, mate, it's just crazy the habits of the form. It's just weird.
Have you heard Elton John and Britney Spears' new song?
No.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like it's out. I listened to it this morning. Someone brought it up, and I was like, "Oh, throw it on."
Is it? It's not like a remake or anything. It's an actual new song between two of them.
Remake. It's Tiny Dancer, I think. I can't even.
Oh, stop! Well, I can't handle that. I hate all that stuff.
You know that other one? I think it's Rocket Man that got redone with. I don't even know who it's.
Nah,
with.
it's the one that goes, Coco Heart.
Yeah, isn't that Rocket Man?
You. Nah, that's
It is.
No, it's not.
I think it's gonna be a long, long time. Touchdown.
Oh yeah, wait, yeah. So it does. It transitions into Rocket Man. There you go. But it's the start of it.
Yeah, it's something else.
Okay, right. Wow. Elton's loving all these remixes.
Yeah, well, I think he does it just with like obviously popular people to stay relevant, which is smart.
He doesn't have to, but he's been knighted by the Queen. He's up to his 13th farewell tour. Don't worry about Elton.
He's hit the pinnacle because he's hit the pinnacle because he's playing at McDonald Jones Stadium.
Do you know what? It's about 30 minutes, or not even. It's about 15, 20 minutes away from the home, Newcastle's #1 podcast, and he knows. Elton, if you might actually get him, on the show.
Oh yeah, I've already organised it. I'll tell you.
Sweet, sounds good. Well, he's a big Roger Federer fan, and Roger's obviously got us covered because he's made us the #1 podcast in Switzerland. And Elton's obviously heard of that. So he's like, I'm jumping at the chance. Let's go.
We'll be the #1 podcast in England soon.
I'm getting knighted by the Queen before she goes. Just quietly.
Yeah, but Britney had all that. I don't know the whole story, but she was like pretty much stripped of her autonomy for all those years and was getting like controlled by like a family or something. You would have heard about that. She like I can't even remember the wording around it or the legislation, but she effectively like couldn't make her own financial decisions. Like she was still being controlled by like, not controlled as in like, you know, like a puppeteer or anything, but she just couldn't like control or access her money or where she lived or what she did because of like a clause in the contract from years ago, even though now she's like a 40-year-old woman. And yeah, something happened recently where she like broke free of it. I'm doing like a terrible explanation of it, but it's effectively she was unable to make her own decisions up until recently, even though because she was like I don't think she was like a child celebrity, but she was obviously very young and would have just had like an agent or someone who controlled everything. And apparently like her family did her a bit dirty, and yeah, it's pretty bad.
So that's why she's been out in the wilderness for so long. Because I haven't heard of Britney since she bloody hooked up with Madonna at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
She's like, that's it. I'm going into hiding. Done.
Yeah, but she's back doing songs with Elton.
I'm gonna listen to it after this. I don't know it, so I'm keen.
It's very similar to that Rocket Man one. Like it's not the worst, but yeah, I still remember the Britney Spears singles on the So Fresh album back in whatever. There was always like 3 or 4 of them. Like I think she was like the most prominent artist. back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I'll tell you what, people our age, like I think one of the biggest lies you could possibly tell yourself if you're about even our age, 30, 40, 50, 60, even 20s, is you don't like ABBA. So that's just rubbish, because like as soon as ABBA comes on, everyone starts singing it. But definitely one of the biggest lies that you can tell yourself as a 30-year-old man is, I never had a crush on Britney Spears. What a load of crap.
How could you not?
How could you not?
You're about, because she's only a bit older than us, really, 8, 10 years.
Yeah.
So like, she was probably 20, you were 12. Just starting puberty, going through puberty.
Britney was the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, her Baby Spice and the Pink Power Ranger, top three.
Pink Power
Kimberly the Pink Power Ranger. They were the top three.
And we all know the Britney songs. I mean, you can't not. That was back in the good old days when you'd buy like an album, just for like one song.
It's insane. What about they used to bring out singles?
$5.
You pay like $5 for a disc with one song on it. It's insane. $5.
Or like, but the whole album, right? Like, say it was Linkin Park, and they released, I don't know, Numb.
What I've done.
Let's say Numb. Yeah, Numb was like big song, and that might have been Meteora. I can't. Anyway, if you want like that song and they didn't have the single for whatever reason, you just have to buy the whole album for about $22 for the one song. skip down to number 9.
Oh yeah, 4 minutes of bliss. Thank you. That's worth $22. You really.
And you just keep skipping them back, going back.
Well, I remember when I was a kid when 8 Mile came out.
Yeah,
like that's what comes to mind for me. When the 8 Mile soundtrack came out, I bought it purely for Lose Yourself. That was it.
Yeah.
So I'd be skipping all of it. Next minute, you get the build up, the 4 minutes, and then Bob's your uncle. It's worth the 22. Thanks.
I feel like I don't know exactly how it works with Spotify and everything now, but surely they would have made like way more money back then when they were selling albums.
Hey guys, just very quickly, if you have been enjoying our podcast and you've been watching us on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe to our channel. If you've been listening to our podcast, give us a follow, give us a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify or wherever it is that you've been listening to us. It really helps the channel grow, and I would be extremely appreciative and grateful if you took a moment to do that for me. Okay, that's it from me. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, you'd think so, but I think like obviously I reckon they'd be getting paid like per number of plays now.
Yeah. Oh, they'd still get compensated, but like, yeah, it's hard to imagine it would be as good as like having to buy a whole album and then it doesn't matter how much you listen to it. Really.
I don't know. I don't think I'll ever buy an album again. I used to be of the notion of I'd always want to buy albums and DVDs and that sort of stuff because I was always like a fan of holding it, like and have the artwork behind it. I was always that person. But I think now it's just way too convenient now, just with Netflix and Spotify to just keep going down that path.
I don't even have a DVD player at home. I got nowhere to play a CD or a DVD or anything.
But no, you just have the Bluetooth speaker, and
records have sort of come back into fashion a bit. Like there's record stores around. There's one at Wall's End. There's a couple in town. You actually buy your records and have a record player and play it on that. But that's a bit different because like the music actually does sound different on a record player.
Can you imagine if like, heading into the future, the VHS is like, regarded as something very, very nostalgic, and there's certain places you can go to purely watch VHS like tapes. And imagine sitting down at like in the future, sitting down the VHS tapes, how pissed off you'd be. You get there, you pick a movie out, and some bastard hasn't even rewound it.
Yeah.
Terrible.
You got to sit there and rewind it.
Oh,
took about 15 minutes.
That was one of the biggest pains ever. I was notoriously bad for it as well. I used to finish the movie, pull it out, put it back in the case, and send it back to Video Easy. Thanks. They would have been hating me.
I think they used to have like a fee charged to you if you did that. I don't know if they like implemented it or enforced it, but it
Yeah.
used to be like they'd scare you with a charge if you didn't rewind your VCR.
Well, it's a pain in the butt. It was horrendous. Imagine like randomly if you back in the day if you hired Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Spoiler: if anyone hasn't watched Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, spoiler. If you got up to the part, Darth Vader goes, "Luke, I'm your father." You put on the VHS, "Luke, I'm your father." That's it. That's it. Like the whole experience is ruined. Having said that, you can look at the top of the VHS and see like if it's
Yeah.
fully rewound. But some people don't do that. They just pull it out and put it in. Imagine that. "Luke, I'm your father." Great.
Thank you. I remember
So,
I used to love the wrestling, as I know you did. We were talking about this the other day.
yeah.
And I would get the main events, the pay-per-views every month, and you'd pay, I think it was like $30 or something, which was big money back when you're 10 years old. I think I used to have to do a bunch of like chores and mowing the lawn and all sorts.
Yeah.
Anyway, we used to tape it. So you tape it, so then you'd have it forever, and you'd have like the label across the video, and you'd write in like WWF SummerSlam 1999 or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I remember like running out of videos, and you'd have to go and like buy new blank videos.
Yeah.
I remember one time I think it was like a WrestleMania or something, and I didn't have any videos, so I had to tape over an old one, and it like killed me. I was like, oh no, but I didn't want to not have the new WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Taped over one of the old ones, never to be seen again.
Man, that's crazy. We used to be able to like tape over things and that sort of jazz. It's just insane how like just how times have changed. And just even like the old, I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember like you tape free to air TV and the ads come on, you press pause?
Yeah.
Yes, you press you press pause and skip the ads, and then like you're sitting there relaxing, having your Smith's chips and your chocolate on the lounge. The next minute, like Channel 9 goes, "Oh yeah, 7:30 Friday, Burke's backyard." You have to like quickly like jump up because you knew that the movie was coming back on. You're like, "Whoa!" And then
Yeah.
like if you had to be on the ball back in the day. Let me tell you.
And there was only like 4 channels back then: ABC, 7, 9, and 10.
Excuse me, mate. What about for us sophisticated folk? SBS, please.
SBS. So yeah, Friday night about 10:30. Steve used to probably tune into that one. You have like this the softcore porn that would come on.
Well, what was on? Sorry.
Yeah, it's like 5 channels to choose from.
Yeah.
And now it's like even the free to air telly now has all of those, plus it has like 7 plus or 9 now and 7 mate
Go and
all that stuff. Plus Netflix, plus Stan, plus Prime, plus Disney, plus Binge, like plus Paramount, like this.
Yeah.
Plus Foxtel. Like we're absolutely spoiled for choice.
Yeah, I know. It's
I
absolutely
still watch
crazy.
YouTube. I still just pop YouTube on.
Yeah, that's what I do. Get me porridge on in the morning and just find a clip. Do your best.
Let it go cold. Eat it cold in about 40 minutes.
Well, do you know what the good thing about porridge is, mate? Hot or cold, you can eat it. That's why it's a safe bet.
I actually got some sad news. Like not sad so much for us, but just got sent that the barn's closing down, Adamstown.
Yeah, I know.
Did you know that already?
Yeah. I knew about it.
It's a shock.
I knew it was close. Yeah, because I've been there a few times, like especially like running sessions at Adamstown and whatever, and sometimes like in the middle, like from 7:30 to 9:30, you got a bit of time off, and I usually duck down to the barn at Adamstown and have like coffee or something. But I popped in there. I think I popped in there 2 weeks ago, just last time. I think it's closing down this week.
Yeah, like the 11th or something.
Is it the 11th? Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I just read their posts that they're not renewing their lease, but it's it's just, I mean, I don't know the circumstances around it all, but their business is just tough, I think.
At the
Just
You've seen a lot. You've seen
all
a
the
lot of
time.
it.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses closing down. They're just like building stuff on top of things now.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know what like I don't know what the future of bloody small business is. Who knows? I don't know.
Because from the outside looking in, with like the barn, like that is probably one of the more popular like cafes in Newcastle. Like
Yeah.
really, pretty well known. Like most
Yep.
people are going to know of the barn who are in the general area,
Yeah.
and like good food and good service and good coffee. Not that I'd know about the coffee, but apparently it's good.
Yeah. Apparently they play movies at the barn as well. You can sit down and watch a movie, and apparently they're good movies. You wouldn't have any any problem there. Nah, chuck any movie on.
Any
Yeah, it's all
movie.
good.
But yeah, I thought that was a bit of a bit of a surprise. So,
Yeah, it's a bit of a shock because, like, as you said, like I never go past the barn and don't see anybody in there. It's always busy in there.
you just never know. You never know the circumstances and what are the reasons, from behind the scenes. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I'll be interested to see what goes in, or if the place takes it over, or if they've sold it, or what's worked there.
I'll tell you something real odd. It just popped up in my head. This was about a month ago. I was actually at the barn, and I haven't told anybody this, but I was at the barn and I was sitting there, and there was like a family, like kind of to the right of me, and there was this little bloke. He would have been about probably one. Anyway, he's like 1 or 18 months or something, and he's like up, like walking around, like going crazy and whatever. And next minute he's pop, and I couldn't see his pop's face, and his pop goes, "Oh, you can come up around that man. He's not going to hurt you." Anyway, spins around. The pop puts his hand on me and like has a laugh, like, haha, funny. Do you know who it was? Remember Robbo from the footy show?
Yeah,
It was Robbo. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, what? Like,
little
so
Robbo, as in
the little
the
the jockey, Alan Robinson. Yeah. So I popped my head up, and I saw it didn't register with me for about 5 seconds. I sort of popped my head up, and I was like, oh, yep. And then like later on, I was like, that's Robbo from the footy show. So weird because he's just like, oh, he's all right. And he put his hand on me. He's like, how you going, mate? I was just like, hey, Robbo. What?
Did you say anything to him? Did you say
Nah, because after that I said, oh, hey, mate, there you go. Like, and then I sat there and I'm like, look, and I looked over. I was like, it's Robbo. Like, it's so strange. But he was sitting in there and he was playing with his grandson or whatever. And I don't know, seemed like he was having a good time. So anyway,
he was a
fun
funny
fact.
dude. He was a funny dude on the footy show.
Yeah, he was the best. I used to love watching him do the street talk. He was
Yeah,
real cheeky and he got under people's skins a lot. Damn.
because he had like that sort of whiny voice because he was
Yeah.
like jockeys
Little fella.
talk a bit funny sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to do some really funny stuff. He'd always talk to like the foreigners,
Yeah.
or just like the strange looking people.
I still remember that old bloke tried swinging at him.
Yeah, I still remember when he was talking to that one lady, and he's talking about fatty Fort, and he's like, "Oh, you gotta love the fat. Like, what do you rate the fat?" And she's like, "Oh, I'll give him a 5 out of 13."
Yeah. But he was also so rude to people, but as well, like,
Yeah,
because the other one that springs to mind is like randomly, like he tried interviewing some guy, and he's like, "Oh, hey mate, like, can you come over here, please?" And he's like, "No," bloke's like getting up him, and then Robbo just randomly just goes, "Hey, shower wouldn't go out of the way."
surprised he didn't get his head punched in. Really?
Yeah, because a few people swung at him. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't allow that on TV now though.
That was like vintage footy show, like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
I
when it was
remember
Chief Sterlo, Fatty, and Matty. That was the best.
there was a DVD, best of 1994 to 2002.
I used to have it, the yellow cover.
Yeah. Classic.
Gold.
Reg Reagan.
Gold. Oh, and Trent. So good times. Man, like, it was crazy that for a period, like, Reg Reagan was probably the most popular figure in rugby league.
Yeah.
And wasn't even a real person. That's
That wouldn't have been long after Matty retired either. Like that was
because Matty retired. Like, I'm pretty sure he played his last season at the Sharks in like 2001.
Yeah. He might have
And
still
that was
been
it.
playing at the time almost. Like it was
Yeah,
around
pretty
that
well.
time.
Yeah.
A lot of the
So
stuff then they couldn't have it on telly now.
no, they couldn't do it now. This episode feels very, very vintage, mate. It feels like we're going back to the glory days. Damn.
We're getting old, mate. We're talking about the good times.
Yeah, 32 going on 75, it sounds like.
Well, you're a Big Brother fan. Like, you remember
Yeah.
some of the shit they used to have on Big Brother, and
Like
they used to just
uncut
get
and all
aired
that.
uncut, and those two guys that like sexually assaulted the girl. Not well, I think it was sexual assault, but they were like
Yeah.
inappropriate with her
Now,
and they got like kicked off but yeah, uncut, and there was like people having sex on on TV and stuff.
but even some of like the conversations that were had about like refugees and stuff.
Yeah.
It was pretty full on. Like
Yeah,
I
remember that
remember one
guy
guy having
who
a go.
what was his name?
Merlin.
Yeah.
Merlin. Yeah, he had the silent protest on TV. I remember that. I was terrified at the time. I was like, what's going on? But like even then, like having conversations about like refugees and whether you're an actual Australian and that sort of jazz, like it's pretty full on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Wouldn't
love Big Brother, the glory days.
pity you didn't get to go on and make you take a stand
Mate,
on something.
mate, I say to everybody, I said like I would have been right up there. I would have been one of the greats of Australian Big Brother. I would have gave it a good shake and gave Australia something to to watch every night. That's for sure.
Sarah Marie, Merlin, Steve.
Steve O. It has to be like a good ring to it. Steve O.
Yeah. No one else
Could have been
famous
one of the
called
greats.
Steve-O.
Huh?
So there's no one else famous called Steve-O, so you can have that
No,
name.
not that's right. You know they say like has been and all that sort of jazz. I'm gonna leave this on a real somber note. Steve O, Big Brother contestant that never was.
So just quickly, because we don't have too much time left, but you made like the last 30 or 50 or something?
Oh, mate, it's a joke. So yeah, I applied in 2012. It was actually a trivia question, one of our trivia nights. Yeah, I applied in 2012 and got like I went through the audition process for like 4 months and got down to like the last 25 applicants, like Australia wide. And then they ended up picking out of the 25, they picked about 14 housemates and they shortlisted 4 of us to be intruders. And they picked 2 and they got rid of 2. And I was a part of the 2 they got rid of. It's a joke, hey? It's like, because the producer rang me up on the show. They rang me up and they said, oh, hey, like, you haven't been successful in becoming a housemate, but we've put you're on the short list to be an intruder because like you need like people to come in and like shake up the house and that sort of jazz. It's not fantastic. I don't care. Just put me on, whatever. And then about 2-3 weeks later, when it was airing, they were like, yeah, no, we've gone with the other 2 of unfortunately. So I was just like, all that for nothing. There was a lot of stuff I needed to do. I needed to fill out this massive questionnaire that took me forever to do. I went down to Sydney a few times to like meet up with producers and Channel 9 executives and all that jazz. And all for what? All to be a Big Brother never was. Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
You've got the story now at least, and
I got the story.
And you can like make it better or worse in time if you want to say you made it to like the final 6 and then they cut you for some other reason. You can just manipulate that.
Well, look at me now. Like the Big Brother producers, I think his name is Alex Mavrodakis or something. I'm pretty sure that's his name. He's surely listening to this podcast, kicking back. I'm pretty sure he does like I'm a celebrity, get me out of here now. And he's kicking back and he's looking and he's looking now. Part of Newcastle's #1 podcast is saying there is the housemate that could have been. And he's kicking himself, Mr. Mavrodakis. If you're listening, look what you missed out on, sir.
It's not too late.
Put me on I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. We're pretty well going to be celebrities in 12 months, considering how well this podcast is going, just quietly.
Especially when we get Elton on.
Elton will be on in January. Thanks, mate.
And then we'll be able to get the referral to Britney Spears from that.
Yeah. And remember, like Elton played Candle in the Wind at Princess Diana's funeral. Then we get Prince Charles on. It just goes from there.
All right, we've got 1 minute, mate. So very quickly, who wins on Sunday? Knights, Sharks.
Come on, mate. Do you really need to ask that? Sharks by 30.
Yeah. It'll be like 40 to 10.
I'm going to not even give Newcastle 2 tries. I'm going to say 42-4. It's going to be the final score.
Yeah, they won't kick the goal. Their goal kicking's up the shit.
So, Sharks to win.
All right. Okay, we'll leave it there. Thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you on the next one.
Gang. Yeah.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If there is a topic you'd like us to discuss that we haven't already, please make sure you reach out in Facebook Messenger and we'll do our best to cover it in the upcoming episodes. For those of you enjoying the podcast, we'd love for you to like, subscribe and leave us a rating. It really helps us grow and spread the good word. Hoping you're all having a great day and we'll be sure to see you on the next one.